Hello, everyone. Happy Friday, and welcome to Laura's Dose of Stamping Therapy. My internet connection should be just fine today because I'm back in my stamp pad rather than out in the field in the country riding in a combine like I was on Monday. So, thank you all for joining in on that one or possibly watching the replay and enjoying a little bit of the other side of what I do when I'm not in the stamp room. So, we are back in the stamp room today and we are stamping fall. I'm sort of wrapping up some of my fall projects and then we'll be moving into Christmas time. Not that November is not still fall, and I still love doing like November, Thanksgiving. Like, I really don't send Thanksgiving Day cards, but I do absolutely love Thanksgiving. It is my number 2 favorite holiday. So yeah, it's just that like a lot of my fall cards kind of go into November and they're kind of, like generic because I don't really prefer Halloween. I prefer more fall. So for example, beautiful cards like this one. This one uses the Gilded Autumn Designer Series paper, which I love, love, love. This was that weird piece of Designer Series paper that I didn't know what it was, like mushrooms, flowers, something. But I found that with this, it fit perfectly. The color was perfect. That little hint of gold gives that perfect little shine, but yet you can't really see what the pattern is. So it still works. So love it. And then I used the Life is Beautiful stamp set, which is this one here. And this is the free stamp set of the month for the month of October. So all orders of $75 or more placed through me before shipping and tax get this stamp set for free. So every month I do a different stamp set, and this is the stamp set this month. So I also wanted to show you guys another sample that I did. Apparently Cajun Craze is my go-to fall color. But I did this card that you can see very similar to this one with the stamping of the leaves and everything. And then it uses that greeting hello. This one uses the greeting thinking of you. And it has the little birdhouse on there. Then I also did a spring summer one using shaded spruce. So you can see that there's the tree and then there's the snowflakes, the leaves, and the little dots. They showed in the catalog that the dots were like spring and they did them in like pink. I don't know that I'm super on board with that. I would prefer like flowers or something like that. So I actually see those dots as more of like a background image than I do as something that goes on a tree. But I guess I technically haven't played with it yet, so maybe I should try it and see. But so I just did green for spring, summer-ish. And then here is my winter one. This one I almost felt like was too serene to want to put a greeting at the bottom. And so I would just put the greeting on the inside. Or it's like that perfect card that like you can just grab, stamp a greeting on the inside and go. So it's kind of like that all occasion card that, you can use for so many different things, just whatever you need at that time. And I don't have a problem with not having a greeting on the front of my card. I know some people are like, oh, no greeting on the front of the card. Like, what is that? But that's not me. I kind of sometimes like it to just be like a photograph or, like a scenery or something like that and not have that greeting. So let me know in the comments if you are a greeting must or a greeting bust. Sorry, I cracked myself up. But yeah, if you must have a greeting on the front of your card or if you like to sometimes leave it blank. Also, I know I'm probably the only one who cares about this, but I felt that I wanted my birdies to not be there for the winter one because they should be hibernating or flying south or like in the little home. So this one you'll see does not have birdies. So I actually stamped it and took my aqua painter and washed off the little birdies, dabbed it with a little piece of paper towel, and then stamped it down. So only I would probably notice that or get excited about it, but I really like it. So that's my little crazy tip for you. I could have masked them, but they're so little and there's one on either side that I was just like, I'm not so sure about that. And I did it twice successfully because I did it once on scrap paper and then I was like, great, now I need to do it again on my project and hope it works out again. So yeah, there's your different seasons with that same stamp set. Super, super fun. So many different colors and combinations that you could go with this card too. Hi, Angie. Oh, the boss left early. Yay! Glad you could join in the fun. Okay, so I'm actually going to be making this card. And I have some of the pieces like already done, but I'm going to do a lot of the stamping with you guys. So I'm going to show you how I did the tree and the leaves. But I did some of them yesterday. And I went ahead and did like some of the pieces because I didn't think I'd be able to finish all of them on live with you guys. But I really want to get them done so that I can get these sent out. I've pulled all of my Halloween and fall samples and Halloween like trick-or-treat boxes and things. Pulled all of those and I have those set aside so that I can use them up. I typically don't keep like any samples or anything from year to year. I like to kind of use them up and get rid of them because next year is going to be totally different ball game with new supplies and new stuff and new stamps and everything. So I like to just get rid of it all to make sure that I'm not, bursting at the seams with crafting projects and supplies. And then that way it gives me more room to be able to purchase more. So I really used Early Espresso and Cajun Craze. And I really went crazy with the layers on this one. So I have my card base is Early Espresso. And then I did the Designer Series paper layer, which is that Gilded Autumn in the Cajun Craze with that gold pattern etched in there, that gold foil. So that little extra bling. And then I did a layer of Early Espresso and a layer of Cajun Craze. The Early Espresso is actually popped up on Stampin' Dimensionals. It's the only layer that's popped up on Stampin' Dimensionals. And then my focal point there with the tree on it and the greeting is on Whisper White. So lots of layers on this card. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Karen. Welcome. So excited to have so many of you guys on today. Do you guys have big plans for your weekend? We do not, and I'm super excited because this week was kind of crazy. So I feel like a little bit of catch up is needed. A little bit of relaxing time is needed. And, the same old house projects. We are getting so close. And the next major house project, which I think I'm kind of saying doesn't need to start until November. But if you know me and my impatience, then this weekend is when we'll probably start it. No, not really. I think we're going to pick out paint. But that's it. But starting on the nursery next month. I kind of feel like we have October, November, and then January, February, because like December is Christmas and the house is rearranged for Christmas. And, granted, most years, there's activities and stuff like that, and that's not really happening this year. But I still want to slow down and enjoy Christmas as much as I can and make it feel like a normal year. So I'm kind of like erasing December plus budget is all going to Christmas gifts. Granted, we're actually buying most of our Christmas gifts early. So maybe we should flip-flop our November and December. But anyway, December's kind of a wash with the holiday and everything and New Year's and then January, February, and then baby's coming in March. So time to get started. Although I feel like October is like too early. Like it's still early, it seems like. And we don't know the gender yet. But I'm pretty sure we've decided that we're just going to paint the room anyway. We were going to do it in gray and then highlight with whatever color we wanted to. Then that way, like as the years go on, we can still highlight with whatever color we want. Going to help your sister. Of course, my comments aren't scrolling. With a craft show. That sounds super fun. Ooh, this one needs a greeting before I move forward. So I will say the one thing about this stamp set that kind of drives me nuts is the fact that the tree is so giant that I have to use my big clear block. And it's not really that I'm like opposed to a big tree. I do like an image that kind of covers the whole card. But I don't really like that large clear block, which I could always use my Stamparatus. And I said that yesterday at stamp class, and yet I still didn't pull it out for this live video. I don't know why. But the giant clear block is just so difficult to manhandle with my little hands, I think. So most of these cards, I think I'm just going to do a simple hello, just so that I can use it for anything. So perfect for Happy Mail. So this one is done, but I'm going to back it up a little bit and show you guys the full stamping. So we're kind of like working in random pieces with these cards. I'm just going to put that jewel on the end of that little foo-foo-y hello. And then on the inside, I just stamped leaves on the bottom. So there's those two cards. Okay. I need to pull in some scrap paper, pull in our white. When I do have a big image like this, a lot of times I like to ink the stamp or ink the image like in reverse, kind of. So I'm going to leave my image down on the clear block, and then I'm just going to ink it like this. That way I know that I'm getting ink in all the spots, and I don't have to worry about like, you know, because it's obviously bigger than the ink pad. So if I just went straight down, I would be missing spots. So this way I can lightly tap all around. I tend to make fewer messes with getting it on the clear block when I do it in reverse like that, because like I said, this block is so big, I tend to just kind of drop it down. So like if I hold it like this, you can see how my hand is like maxed out. Like it's as far as it can go, and it also can easily slip. So I kind of hold it like this. Oh no, I went down on it. See, I dropped it a little. I think it'll be okay because it's just a branch, and I'm going to cover it up with leaves anyway. So, but that's what happens. So I just have like a little floating branch right out here. No one's going to know except me and you guys. Okay, so then I'm going to bring in the Cajun Craze and the leaves. You can make your tree as full or as light as you want. You can even add a few leaves down at the bottom like they've already fallen off. You could also do this in multiple colors too to really get that fall leaf effect. So I'm just using Cajun Craze though. And I'm kind of stamping like off to the left and then off to the right. But I'm stamping like off to the left. There's no lining up, so that's awesome. And then I'm just going to pick it up, move it like over and down a smidge, and stamp again. And that's when what's going to give that two-tone look for like, you know, that lighter, darker, that in the front, in the back sort of look, and just kind of make the tree look a little bit fuller. Because if you stamp a whole bunch of times like this, that's what you end up getting, just a giant glob of Cajun Craze. Whereas with this, you kind of get that two-tone, so it looks a little bit more like a two-tone or like a front and a back, or, you know, like the image just looks a little bit better than just a solid Cajun Craze. So again, off to the right, I'm going to do the same. And then just rotate and smidge down or up or wherever and stamp again. Now, I did have one of my girls yesterday at class stamped down lower, and it looked really cool. And I'm not sure if she did this or not, but I actually flipped it over. So I'm going to stamp down here. Ooh, it does look pretty cool. It's like a really full looking tree. I mean, if you super look at it, you think like, well, I don't see any branches down here, but there's a whole bunch of leaves, so that kind of looks weird. But if you just look at it as a full scenery with that tree, it's gorgeous. So which one do you guys like better? Fewer leaves or a full tree of leaves? Oh, my comments aren't scrolling today. Thank you, Kathy. Welcome. Always good to share with friends and invite more people to come. So now I'm just going to stamp that hello down in the corner. I will say if you go farther down with the leaves and then use that bigger greeting of thinking of you, it might sort of smear together a little bit and it might not show up as well. Oh no. Okay, I thought maybe I lost you guys. More leaves, both. Well, that works too. And then I'm just adding a little gilded gem. So you can add it to like the end of the greeting. You could add it to this end. You could just add it like up in this little area. You can really add it wherever you want. Let's see this one. Oh, this one's missing. It's inside. So let's go ahead and do one of those. So for this, I just did that same thing with those leaves. So ink it up, stamp, move over a smidge, stamp again. Stamp, move it over a smidge, stamp again. Stamp, move over a smidge, stamp again. I also feel like I need a little bit right there. There we go. There was like a little hole there. So that just adds a little bit of leaves on the ground to the inside of the card to coordinate it, pull it all together, and look fabulous. So in the very beginning, I shared, here it is. I shared another sample using the Life is Beautiful and said that I didn't put a greeting on the inside or on the front. Are you guys, so that's the big question today. Are you guys a greeting must on the front or a greeting bust? And like you don't really care. Like I think that looks fabulous and serene, and then I can use it for anything in the winter, whatever occasion pops up that I need a card, and I can stamp the greeting on the inside. But I know some people really have to have a greeting on the front. So these are just 3 more samples using the Life is Beautiful stamp set. So yeah, let me know. Do you guys have to have a greeting on the front of your card, or you're okay without a greeting on the front? Let me know in the comments. So the colors I'm using are Early Espresso and Cajun Craze. But you could really choose any sort of brown or any fall color that you want. I think this would look really good with pumpkin pie, crushed curry, even like a deep green, depending on where you live. If you don't really get that variation in color, you could always do just like a deep green. As you saw in that other sample, I used shaded spruce for like my spring summer look, and it's gorgeous. Don't worry if the cardstock ever sticks to the image. Just like kind of touch it with your fingernail or your fingertip on the corner and like push it down. That way it will pop off without making any messes, or hopefully not a mess. Greeting. You love the Life is Beautiful. I know it really has piqued my interest a lot more now that I've been playing with it. And now I'm just like, oh. And that is also the free stamp set of the month this month for orders of $75 or more. And that offer is exclusive through me. So I did leave a link in the description so that you can order, so that you can earn that Life is Beautiful stamp set. Oh, I also wanted to share with you guys that I had a few questions about die cutting machines, Big Shot, new Stampin' Cut and Emboss, and I've done videos with both of those individually, but I went ahead and I did like a tips and tricks video so that I could share different things about the similarities and things like that throughout all the machines, and just some basics to die cutting and embossing. And that video went live on my YouTube channel, Laura's Stamp Pad, and that was yesterday. So it should be, you know, like right on the top as soon as you go to Laura's Stamp Pad on YouTube. And I can always put a link here on Facebook too, so that you guys can find that. But I just had a few questions, and I'm better at like explaining in person with visuals and things than I am with like talking. And it was a great video and super fun to do. I haven't actually done like a video that's like not just my hands, and it's like mostly just my face and showing off. So yeah, I had a lot of fun doing it. It's like 20 minutes long of me acting crazy, I feel like, because I use my own language with stamping. Maybe not necessarily always the exact words, but to me, that's what makes me know how to do it. You know, like pat it down, or poppy uppies, or stuff like that. I mean, I know that doesn't help because you can't Google that to try to purchase it, but that's why I usually try to help you guys out with supply lists and links and everything. Okay, so both of those still need inserts. Ooh, that would be super pretty. The greeting on the front is not necessary. Yes. So I'm not alone. At least there's one other of you guys out there who doesn't think that it needs to have a greeting. So now I know I'm not too crazy. I mean, I know I'm pretty crazy, but bare branches, a single ornament, and the snow falling. That would be gorgeous. Especially if it was almost like a... I mean, I don't really want to say a card is bleak looking, but you know, winter can sometimes be a little bleak. And then you have that bright, shining ornament. Like if you heat embossed it like gold or silver, that would be gorgeous. And did it in blues and like a light blue and a navy. Oh my gosh, can you see my mind is creative today. I probably should do a lot of stamping. But yeah, do like Night of Navy and maybe like Pool Party, or maybe Balmy Blue. And then heat emboss that single ornament. Like usually whenever I do blues, I usually do silver. And so it would just be that single shiny ornament looking so cute. Do you guys do a lot of stamping off or stamping twice for that variation in color? I feel like I do it a lot. And I really just like that variation in color. It just seems to give so much more texture and like depth to the card, and it's so easy to do because it's the same ink color. So then I'm not mixing inks and cleaning my stamps and like doing all of that so much. Find the joy, yes. Okay, Like I said, I have so many of these cards at like so many different levels. I just want to make sure I'm getting them all complete. And this one still needs a little jewel. I'm going to put the jewel up in the corner on this one. And that one already has an insert, and that one has an insert, and that one has an insert. So apparently I did this one as an extra. Either that or maybe one of these doesn't. I think it's an extra, but that's okay. Okay, so it looks like we have 1, 2, 3 more to go. And here's another extra. So oh no, it's sticking to my photopolymer stamps that I have sitting aside for another project that I just pushed over to the side so that I could do this video. Last Friday, I posted a picture of my crazy stack of desk and mess and said, it's Friday, I'm done working, I need to clean up. Pretty much I'm going to be doing that again this afternoon, because I just have a million projects out. Working on some Christmas cards for some upcoming classes. Playing with some different papers. The name of the color of the Stampin' Up! Ink pad. This brown is the Early Espresso. And the ready orange color is Cajun Craze. So Early Espresso and Cajun Craze are the 2 colors that I'm using for this card. Hi, Jane. Add dimensionals. Oh, it adds dimension, yes. And if you're only heat embossing one little bitty ornament, that's not that bad, right? Famous last words. Don't make 1,000 of those cards. Actually, heat embossing isn't bad. It's best if you can have a nice assembly line with multiple people so that you can kind of keep the heat tool going, because the more you like shut it off and let it cool, the longer it takes. Because once it's hot, you can like heat emboss in like 30 seconds. I almost put it in the Early Espresso. We're done with this color, so I'm closing it. Cajun Craze is all I have open now. But yeah, it goes really fast once the heat tool is nice and warm. I'm actually going to add a little bit up here in the corners to like round it off. Just as something a little different. So the normal tree that I've been doing, this one I went up into those corners and then across the top. So I did like all of that area. And then this one I went down low in that middle section right here. So different looks, different trees. Well, thank you, Jane. I appreciate that. Oh, I have to share this recipe with you guys because it is super fabulous. It is baked chicken nuggets using pretzels as like the coating, and it made them very crunchy and amazing. So of course I have to share it because that's what we do when we find a good recipe. We must share. So yeah, I'll have to share that recipe with all of you guys because it was yummy. But that's what we had last night for supper was we tried out those, and then I made my my aunt's amazing rice recipe, which is also super fabulous. It's like a beef consomme, French onion soup, mushrooms, and butter and rice all in a pan, and then pop it in the oven, and it cooks. And it is heavenly. Simple and heavenly. Which, as we get closer to baby time, I will definitely be asking you guys for some awesome, like, one-pan meals or crock pot recipes or things like that, because I don't really want to be eating every meal as takeout. But with my hands full with the baby and Brad's hands full with Claire, unless we hire our own personal chef, stuff has to be quick and simple. Looking at all of these cards, like, kind of laid out, looks like it's like just leaves everywhere. It kind of makes me super happy thinking it's like very fall looking. And I'm so glad that I had all these bases and everything ready, because otherwise I would definitely still be here making these cards. But we do still have like 10 minutes, so I'm going to quickly make another card because I think I only have 2 to make, and I did a lot of prep for that one too. So this is the first card. And we're just going to set those up here. And then I want to show you this other card. I fell in love with this card the moment I saw it and was like, oh, maybe I can change it up and do something a little bit different. And then I was like, no, it's gorgeous. I don't really want to change it up because it's so fabulous as is. And so yeah, I ended up just copying it exactly. Oh geez, I wish I would have looked up her name real quick. I think it is from Debbie McNeil, if I have her last name correctly. So I sure hope that's who exactly it was. But I can always look that up, and a big shout out and thank you to Debbie for that, because this card is stunning. So it uses Pretty Peacock ink, yes, as well as cardstock. And then can you see that I embossed with the wood grain embossing folder? Hopefully that comes through. Which I added just directly to the card front, so it just kind of adds texture to the card front. On the inside, I used the same leaves that are on the front, and that is from the Beautiful Autumn stamp set. And then I have these little white squares that we're going to grid out with pieces of the Perfectly Plaid, which is on sale this month for 15% off. Woo woo! That makes it under $10. So, woo, that is so amazing. So I'm using that basic gray and shaded spruce and the Pretty Peacock. And I'm not going to try to Tetris these differently. I'm just going to do them exactly as is. And I'll show you a few little tricks on how I get my spacing. Whoops, that one doesn't go there. To get all these lined up. And let me tell you, they're not perfect, and that's okay too. Nope, I don't need any more of that one. I need a gray one. Yeah, I need gray and plaid. Okay. So here I have my grids. I'm going to end up moving these up and out of the way a little bit more. So what I typically do is I kind of grid them out like this. They're definitely not like in place by any means. But I start on one corner, then I kind of like build out and just make it bigger and bigger. So I'm going to start on the one corner. And that's sort of my first guide. Now I'm going to take these two and I'm going to add adhesive. And one of the things I could do is add this green one to the other corner like this. And then add this gray one in the middle, just pretty much lining it up side to side and with the same amount of space that's at the bottom as the plaid and the shaded spruce. So I can do it like that, where I do like outside working in. Another option, and then we're just gonna rotate it around. I'm gonna take off these two, put adhesive on both of them, and set them down at the same time, wiggling them to get that perfect look. So hopefully my hands aren't like super in the way. And then press. So I kind of like place the cardstock like a little bit like at an angle and shimmy them around and then lay it down and press. And then I'm just going to turn and do the same thing. So I'm just going to kind of look at both ends and then set down and press. And then these last two kind of just fit in. Little adhesive on the table. That's what happens when you have small things. And like I feel like this one and those don't quite match up. But again, I really don't think that you'll notice as much once the whole card gets assembled. So don't sit there and nitpick over it. It'll be okay. No one will notice but you. And that one. So then I have all my little leaves. So there's 2 of each leaf and then 2 of the acorns as well. And I used mini Stampin' Dimensionals on the backs. Plus, this is a great way to use up your scraps. Scrap little piece of white, all used up. Okay, let me find some mini dimensionals. Pop those on the back. Here's some already die cut ones, or not die cut, but punched out. And I'm just going to angle these at like different angles so they're not so like, as I'm flinging them around. That way it also kind of gives the card like a little bit of offsetness. So you're probably not going to notice any sort of weird, you know, that one doesn't line up or that sort of thing. Are you guys all in awe, or are my comments not scrolling? Because no one's commenting anymore. Did you ever think to use Pretty Peacock for your fall colors? I know I sure didn't, but gosh, this card is just gorgeous. At least I think so. Okay, so I still need one more acorn and that last one. Whoa, wait a minute. I was like, how come this one does not look the same? But it does. It's just upside down. That's okay. So now I'm just going to add this to my card front. Making sure it opens in the right direction. And I'm adding it sort of up high, sort of with the same dimensions around the top and the two sides. Just watching me work. Oh, I'm glad you like this one too, Jane. And then I used my my pick-a-banner punch. And so I made the little banner tips. And then I also did that with the gray. So I'm just going to layer these together. I did use the Pretty Peacock ink again. So just one ink pad for this card. And then you can do as much or as little as you want here. And press. And then we want to add it to our card, making sure not to fall off the edge. So you can set it down here, kind of put a little fingernail mark or whatever. You could always take a pencil or you could measure it exactly. I tend to use my fingernail a lot. And then just take a pair of scissors and snip. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of twine around this. So wrap it around a few times. And now tie it into, I just tied it into a double knot. I did not do any sort of bows because it's so little. And I also feel like it's a little bit more masculine. So I didn't really want to do a bow. And the greeting is also put on with dimensionals. The other thing is if your ribbon, I'm just spreading them out to make them fan out and look a little bit cuter. And to fill in some of that space. Don't worry if you feel like your ribbon is kind of loose because we're going to put dimensionals over the top of it. And so that's going to help secure it on there as well. I always have people ask me if I use adhesive to like secure ribbon so that it doesn't slide off. And for the most part, I don't. I either try to tie it tight is one option. But the other thing is whenever I do something like this, like it's secure. There was no need to add, like some snail adhesive or anything to get it to stay because I'm adding dimensionals over the top of it. Or like sometimes I'll add dimensionals, like the ribbon might be in the middle and I'll have dimensionals on either side. So if it does slide, it's only going to slide so far. And that goes right there on the bottom. Super, super cute. Which one are you guys loving more? The Cajun Craze or the Pretty Peacock? Too intense for you? It is pretty intense. I'm not gonna lie. It's just a lot of little steps. I have people ask me all the time which one's the hardest card, and I'm like, it's not really hard. It's just kind of time consuming because there's a lot of steps to it and placing and pieces and like a lot of times coloring I say is usually the hardest card. Not because coloring is hard, but because coloring is time consuming. So I'm glad you guys liked these. Let me know if you liked the Cajun Craze card or the Pretty Peacock card. And that is all I have. I'll have to finish the other one after nap time because it's 1 o'clock. So I got to get going so that I can go put Claire down for her nap for the day. So I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I will see you back here on Monday at 12:15 for Laura's Dose of Stamping Therapy. Don't forget, you can always check me out on my blog, laurastamppad.com. And you can also check me out on YouTube under my channel, Laura's Stamp Pad. I hope you guys will have a wonderful weekend. Love, hugs, and prayers to all of you guys. Stay safe and stay healthy, and have a wonderful weekend. Bye.